Hello, everyone. What's good? As I try to find my hand over there. Welcome back to yet another video. What's good? Hey, my name's Cody Lear. If you haven't been here before, I do a lot of this lovely sports content. If you would like to join us, I would appreciate you. Give me a subscribe, give me a like, comment, tell me I suck. I'd appreciate them all anyway. Yeah, so, what are we doing today? Last 2 days we've been on a little bit of a kick, right? We did a review of the wild card weekend. We did a predictions for the divisional round. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Obviously, I thought it was sort of important. That's why I decided to finally, pull out the webcam and shoot this bad boy. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, I don't really know what to do right now. So we're going to figure that out. I don't even know if it's centered right. I'm working on it. We're kind of learning as we go here. But regardless, enough about me. Let's start talking about the topic is today. So, John Harbaugh, former head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, officially has agreed to a deal with the New York Giants. I was going to do a short on it last night and then read that it said something about how it wasn't officially official, and I went, well, I should probably not look like an idiot on the internet, even though I'm doing it right now. And now he's official. 5 years, $100 million, $20 million a year. Has already announced Todd Monken as his offensive coordinator. Been the offensive coordinator for Baltimore for a little while, so not really a surprise there, I don't believe. But let's do a quick dive into John Harbaugh for you New York fans that may not know who he is completely. I'm sure you do, because Google is a thing, but, I figured I'd give it a shot, right? John Harbaugh played football up until about 1983. In college, I believe he went to college at the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. He was apparently went to high school in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which that makes a lot of sense now I think about it because Jim Harbaugh. You know what? Whatever. So he started as a running backs coach, and I believe he did outside linebackers as well in 1984 for the Western Michigan Broncos. He was a coach in college for a long time. Had a stint as the special teams coordinator for a lot of years for Cincinnati, went to Indiana, and then ended up finally going into the NFL in about 1998. He was a special teams coordinator until 2006. Became the defensive backs coach for the Philadelphia Eagles in 2007, which obviously led to John Harbaugh becoming the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. That being said, the cool thing about that is John Harbaugh has won Coach of the Year before, back in 2019. He is a Super Bowl champion. He was a Super Bowl champion in 2012. He is got the most road wins as a head coach in the playoffs with 8. He had a career record. I believe he's at 190 something. Completely honest with you, I probably have it wrong. I'll put it up here just to make sure I have it right. Really, really impressive career to start off for John Harbaugh. Like I said, he started off in '84 as a running backs coach and an outside linebackers coach. He has been coaching football for more than 40 years at this point, which is absolutely crazy. Now we know. I also want to quickly give a shout out to him. He has had 10 head coaches go on. 10 of his coordinators or coaches go on to be head coaches. In fact, Denard Wilson was the defensive backs coach as the Titans defensive coordinator, so I know that very well. But he had 10 of them go on to be head coaches. 9 of them, if you do not count Gary Kubiak. Gary Kubiak had also been the head coach of the Houston Texans before he was a head coach of the Denver Broncos, so if you don't count that, 9, which is also something I will try to note above if I remember. I probably will. That being said, let's go into the Ravens. He was brought in 2008. A Ravens team that needed a quarterback desperately. They ended up drafting Joe Flacco. This team had a phenomenal defense. Terrell Suggs, Ray Lewis. You had Ed Reed. Just absolutely 3 phenomenal players just right there. Haloti Ngata was drafted in 2006. He was a very good player for them for years. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to forget so many names, and it's going to be absolutely crazy that I did because the Ravens have had a great coach and have been such a great defense for a long time that it's honestly crazy to think that this has happened at this point. As the Ravens head coach, did have 3 losing seasons, which did not start for quite a while, right? Because he went on to win the Super Bowl in 2012. 2013 and 2014 were kind of bounce back years. 2015 was his first losing season. He also had a losing season in 21 and obviously in 2025, which led to his departure recently. If you watch the press conference from the Ravens owner, obviously there has to be some riffs there, but I don't want to dive too into stuff that I don't personally know as I try to look at the hair in my face. I apologize for that. Because the question was asked to John Harbaugh, one, why were you fired over the phone? Well, short term, basically he just told him, I don't want to make him drive all the way in here and just to fire him, which I can respect that. And of course, the big question was if Tyler Loop makes that field goal, is John Harbaugh still the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens? Which the owner did answer with, yeah, but probably for another week. To say things with Baltimore have definitely kind of folded is kind of something that is obvious at this point then. He transitioned quarterbacks, I would say, really, really well. You went from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson, who has now been a 2-time MVP. You could argue as a 3-time MVP. His big issues this season where the teams did blow leads later is going to be completely real. I think that the undoing just kind of came from blowing leads late. A team that is expected to be a Super Bowl contender every year, it has seemed to regress year after year. Obviously, that team was really, really strong 2 years ago, and then this last year they were just kind of okay. Unfortunately, going home after Mark Andrews drops that 2-point conversion, things kind of happen like that. But to say that his career was a wash in Baltimore would absolutely be crazy. He did a phenomenal job. So if you're a New York Giants fan, I think you're very excited. Your big issue has been defensive backs, and he's been a defensive back coach for a few times. He's been a special teams coordinator. And with the new era of the special teams, of course, I don't really know how well he fits into that new era. It's a really big get. And flipping over to the New York Giants, like official aside, John Harbaugh brings something new. Now, I definitely understand the concern from Giants fans. Um, I don't know if he's going to be your complete savior. He's been a good coach for a long time, though. And with a team that is just kind of now developing, with Cam Scadaboo, you have Malik Neighbors, you have Jackson Dart, and that defense, if you can get some help in that secondary, should be absolutely loaded with Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, if you bring him back, Marcus Lawrence, Brian Burns. I really like the Darius Alexander pick. I hope he really turns out at the D lineman position. I would absolutely love that. I think he'll do really good things over there for a few years. But regardless, I think that there is excitement over there in New York. There's a lot of things to look forward to with him as the head coach because you're going to finally, hopefully, get consistency. Brian Dable is the guy that you just moved on from. He had that one really, really big year where they went to the playoffs and got a playoff win over, I think, the Minnesota Vikings, if I remember correctly. And yeah, things have just not worked out since. Things have gone downhill over and over again. Obviously, with Saquon going to Philly, immediately winning a Super Bowl, Daniel Jones showing a lot of promise as the Indianapolis Colts quarterback just this year. The Giants are looking for somebody that is going to be consistent. John Harbaugh has been the epitome of that for a long time. His teams were always in the mix, 8 and 9, 2 times, which means that he nearly had a team with a winning record constantly. 3 years he went without a winning record from 2008 all the way until now, which the 25-26 season. So for the Giants fans, I definitely think that you should be excited. The offensive line definitely needs to be fixed over there. Todd Monken coming over there really does kind of get me have me a little excited, to be honest with you, for the Giants fans. I think that that could be a really, really good get for them. That being said, I'd love to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think down below if you haven't already. I do appreciate you all for joining me. Thank you so much. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, please leave a like, please leave a comment, please leave a subscribe if you haven't already, and if you feel the need to. I appreciate you all so very much. If you give me a minute of your time, I'm going to love you for life, and I'll see you all on the next video. Have a good one.